In the bottom right of Shallow Grave, the Canadian undead player it is, iNSUPERABLE. And in the upper left, the maniac, the brainiac, the man himself, the myth, the legend, it is CrunCher.
You forgot to say the current reigning regional DreamHack champion.
True. Sorry, CrunCher. I know you're gonna watch this back. I'm sorry.
He's got many titles, and I'm sure recently he's got a lot of titles in Diablo 2 as well, which he has been grinding. I'm curious how much of those skills have been transferred over. You know, he's keeping his APM up, I guess, as he's grinding drops. And I was completely wrong, guys. I didn't think that we would see the Lich on this map because of how large it is and how aggressive you have to be, but it still could be Lich Expo. Honestly, Lich Expo is a very strong build, and I know that INSUP likes it, so that could be something that we're seeing here. What do you think?
Yeah, I think you're absolutely right that it might not be the best map for Lich. I mean, INSUP's going to stick to what he's comfortable with, and he's going to at least, you know, we were talking about sort of throwing your opponents off in the first game with Kiwi Hitman earlier. So maybe he's going to go Lich game 1 and then try to switch it up into something maybe more macro-oriented, or maybe, like you say, Lich expansion. Definitely viable, definitely strong, and this is a great map to have a macro game. So far, that Acolyte block, though, pretty good. I mean,
man, he's buying so much time here. Wow, this is actually pretty annoying as a human player. I have to be honest. It buys like 5 seconds.
Yeah.
And the creeps are already back, inner fired, and they're going to be dealing damage. Lich is going all the way across the map. He's playing aggressive with this. This isn't a fast expansion. The madman himself, he's like, you know what? This is my bread and butter. This is what I've been practicing. I'm beating the best humans on the ladder with it. I'm going to come across here and just kill your units.
Yeah, CrunCher might have to not clean up the whole camp, but if he doesn't clean up the whole thing, he might not get level 3. Gets a greater heal. The Nova steals the Trapper, 48 experience. A couple of peasants are going to go down. This could be a nice cluster Nova here in a second. The skeletons are being dealt with by that priest, but the ghouls are here as well. So far, only 1 peasant, but this is at least going to be 2 or 3 more.
I think the drop is actually really good, though, for CrunCher. He gets the greater heal, which is better, of course, than an invul, although for surrounds or something, an invul's really good. But typically with the Lich, you want to put a lot of damage on the Archmage, and having that greater, you know, healing potion, CrunCher's just going to keep the DPS rolling with the Archmage. He's going to feel okay creeping in the Lich's face, and he's not going to worry too much about it.
INSUP could be very focused now on getting some last hits. Maybe not on this Trapper here, but maybe at the Green Camper at the expansion, trying to slow down that level 3 on the Archmage. Then level 2 Water Elementals absolutely destroy ghouls. But until you get to that point, the ghouls are still going to be quite effective at this harassment. So we'll see if INSUP can do a decent job. Right now, he's doing a decent job of, you know, getting a slight tech advantage maybe soon. He's been actually pulling a lot of ghouls here. He's continued to rally ghouls to the Lich, not teching, not going for more lumber.
He's going for backpack. He's going to keep this pressure on. I think he really wants to delay the expansion or try to get level 2 himself. It might even be smart for CrunCher to just tech here. Like, I mean, but he hasn't really, you know, scouted what INSUP's doing in his base. He doesn't see that there's no tech, that INSUP is a lot more all in than maybe he thinks. And so he's continuing his plan. Maybe he's waiting for a little bit of gold, but he hasn't teched yet. I'm kind of surprised about that.
Yeah, he's got a normal amount of peasants. He is, of course, gone for the 4th farm, so he could go for the expansion. Still 1 ghoul going to fall. There is a Nova, but INSUP might want to go for that Berserker instead. Could definitely find that kill if he wanted to. Looked like the ghoul movement was going for a surround of the Archmage. Definitely not likely. Another ghoul's going to fall, but the Berserker, that's a decent chunk of experience. Lich almost level 2, and with that, Dark Ritual could mean there's more Novas for more last hits.
Ooh, those are some juicy kills from INSUP there. You know, INSUP's got great micro. He's good at just diving past your army, understanding how far he can go, pushing the limits, and able to grab kills that other undeads won't be able to, especially with Lich. He's practiced this a lot, and he did a great job here. Those are really big, but CrunCher gets level 3. So these ghouls are no longer effective. It's all about the Novas now.
Yeah, we're passing the 5-minute mark here, and CrunCher still has yet to pull the peasants. Now he is for that expansion, and INSUP, you know, he would be very far ahead in tech in a normal game. If this is a Ted Fiends harass, he would be massively ahead in tech. But because he was so committal with those ghouls, it's not going to be that big of an advantage, the fact this expansion is quite late. We'll see if he can do any more damage here, though.
I agree. I think it's going to be really hard for him to do a lot of damage now. His Lich is already half HP, and that's the problem. Archmage can just right-click him, even just grab one Footman, and just keep pinging him, and that's exactly what CrunCher's doing here. And then he's not going to be able to get much done. So I feel like this harass is almost over, but I could be wrong. Lich is getting low. Is he going to have to TP?
Oh, one more hit, but not quite. Worth mentioning also, CrunCher got the replenishment potion, which that damage on the Archmage is not going to be significant at all. There is one more Nova, and I think iNSUP really wants to use that Nova before he goes back home, but I don't know if he can get in range for anything.
Even if he Nova'd this Footman, the ghouls can't get in to deal damage. These Water Torrents do too much damage. There's a Shadow Priest behind to heal up whatever damage was done to that Footman. So he's got to go home. He's got to heal up. Maybe try to get level 3 and just go for a regular creep route at this point. The map is so big, CrunCher's going to be able to settle down, get towers, get his tech going, put his macro on, and then now CrunCher's going to be on the offensive, and I just think this is already a really bad spot for iNSUP.
Yeah, worth noting that CrunCher also teched while he was creeping that expansion. That just shows how much time he had to get more peasants in his main base to get the lumber rocking. And now he's going to have the expansion and the tech. And the tech is actually, although it was a weird timing to start the tech, it's going to be finished at, a relatively normal time. iNSUP goes into the main base, going to try to lower that lumber count, but only going to find one kill for now. And still that Lich is quite low. And CrunCher maybe going to staff back. Yeah, he's got staff and teleportation. This is going to be a town portal.
Oh my god, the CrunCher play here was really smart. Like just grabbing the staff, being very careful, and then just coming right back to defend is really good. However, I also really like this play from iNSUP. The whole point here is you want to damage the lumber economy, so tier 3 is delayed. So maybe he has to make a choice. Is it Mountain King or is it tier 2 buildings? Do I get enough flying machines or do I do something else? However, this map does have labs. So my guess is CrunCher right after taking this camp is like, okay, I lost some lumber peasants. Maybe my wood is going to be hurting, although it's not. It's 327. He had a lot from earlier. And I just go pick up a shredder.
For sure, and we're seeing him react as well by getting that lumber mill quite early. He can start getting that improved lumber harvesting upgrade. iNSUP quite close to level 3 Lich. Isn't going to get it off this green camp, but that's going to be nice. He's going to also have to heal up, but he's already got the Death Knight out, so pretty well-timed tech, all things considered, for iNSUP. He's going to be able to continue the creeping. I'm wondering now, he's going straight for the tier 3. Does he go for some sort of a Pit Lord push? Does he get Frenzy on the ghouls and go for a single destroyer timing? What do you think the follow-up now for iNSUP is?
Man, to be honest, this is all new territory for me. Yeah. I've watched a lot of iNSUP streams, and I don't think I've seen this position before. Well, our questions are answered a little bit. He's building a Crypt Fiend, so it looks like he's trying to go into that typical tier 3 undead army. He actually does see CrunCher going for the lab, which is a great catch. I wonder if he can get enough damage here.
Ooh, really nice Zeppelin find. The perfect timing for CrunCher to creep this because he's safe now with the Shredder and the Zeppelin. No way iNSUP can find any kills because the only anti-air right now is currently that Lich itself. So the Zeppelin is going to save all these footmen, and the tier 3 tech already underway. The priest in the main base to defend against that skeleton harass. And yeah, iNSUP, I fear he's not going to get a whole lot done with this ghoul dual hero pressure.
I think the big problem is it's not a level 3 Lich. The map is really large, so by the time you walked over here, look, the Mountain King is already out. Maybe if his timing was just perfect and this Rock Golem was just started at the lab and he had a level 3 Lich, he could have done a decent amount of damage and then continued onto the main base where there weren't towers yet to keep dealing with the lumber of the human player. But at this point, I would say he's very, very far behind, and he's going to have to do something crazy in order to get back into it.
Yeah, and CrunCher's in a position now where he can just pressure with these two heroes. Yes, he would love to creep his Mountain King up whenever possible, but why not with this level 4 Archmage close to level 5, really? Just keep pressuring him behind it, tech to tier 3 behind it. He's got that Shredder you mentioned, so his economy's going to be cooking. And what do you know, he's even finding some kills to boot.
The weird thing is there's no tech buildings for CrunCher. Okay, as I say it, he starts putting them down, but he's been so aggressive, and I feel like he's just confident. 10 Flamecaster, this Archmage is like, I'm just gonna go across the map and kill all your ghouls. I don't really care. I've got a level 1 MK. All I need is that Storm Bolt, and then my Water Elementals are gonna finish everything off because all you have is just like 2 Fiends, barely anything. Typically, the human's really scared of the level 3 Death Knight, And that level 1 coil, it kind of tickles the Archmage. Although he has used all of his healing, so he does have to back up.
Yeah, I almost expected a 3rd workshop to come up before CrunCher, but he's going for the standard 2 workshops. and 2 barracks. But he does have that Zeppelin, so maybe an early double tank drop in the back of the gold mine could be a possibility because, you know, INSUP, he's going to have some ghouls back at home to defend against it, but he's not going to probably have a ton of destroyers prepared because of such a late tech, because of so many ghouls built early on. And we'll see. A third hero is a possibility now for INSUP, but he would also love that Death Knight level 3, which is going to take a whole lot of creeping. In the meantime, CrunCher is towering up. He's going to have his tier 3. He's going to have this tri-hero. He's going to hopefully, for his sake, I suppose, have a level 3 Mountain King.
Here comes the Zeppelin. These Zeppelin drops are probably a big reason why INSUP and other undeads really hate this matchup. Honestly, it's hard to deal with, especially if you're slightly behind, because the undead is strapped for cash. They're strapped for resources. They might not have even had researched web yet because it's not quite the push timing. And then once this comes in, honestly, man, I mean, you can look at...
You couldn't be more right, Jason. You could not be more correct. My God, GG 1-0 for CrunCher, just like that.
Just like that, indeed. That Lich first. Carson, we talked about it in the previous broadcast. We thought, okay, was this just an ESL Cup thing? Was just maybe to, you know, hide strategies from CrunCher? Nope. It was the real deal. And CrunCher defended this really, really well. Shallow Grave again going to CrunCher, who, you know, saw the GG and grabbed his phone, checked, I don't know, the WoW news or the latest anime, or immediately ordered a new waifu pillow, you know, with the prize money. I don't know, but CrunCher looking really good here.
For sure, yeah, and, you know, one thing to say, I suppose, in INSUP's favor here is that will be the worst of these 3 maps for Lich. If he wants to continue, albeit a little bit stubbornly, with the Lich, he's going to have much better success, most likely, on a map like Tidehunters. So that's something to say in INSUP's favor, but CrunCher looks as though he never stopped playing right now.
I would say that it was a little bit less about CrunCher doing something amazing and more about not making mistakes, and then INSUP just choosing a strategy that doesn't really work. Maybe if it wasn't a greater healing, maybe if he got there slightly faster somehow and CrunCher was slightly slower at the Merc Camp creep. But I feel like as soon as the Merc Camp was finished, there was level 2, you saw that item drop. It already felt like a downhill spiral from there. I don't like this strategy choice, but I feel like he's like, I gotta do Lich aggression. That's all I'm doing. But he picked the map, so maybe it does work in some cases.
Yeah, there was a moment that maybe could have played in INSUP's favor. He was creep checking CrunCher at the turtles in pretty much the middle of the map. And the creeps got a last hit on something, maybe a water elemental. And that, I think, could have given the Lich level 2, or at least closer to level 2. And then maybe with an earlier Dark Ritual, you get more Nova. With more Nova, you do more damage. With more damage, you kill more stuff. And then you accelerate and snowball that. But... well, the creeps got the water elemental, and then it was all for nothing, and CrunCher played it from here, like, as you say, pretty straight up. I wonder what INSUP has prepared for the upcoming match. Shallow Grave, his map didn't really work out. Maybe he's a little more lucky on Tidehunters, because that game is coming up next. Match points for CrunCher could make a huge step, not only towards the playoffs here in the winter season, but also towards the year-end final for $130,000. That is a lot of money, everybody. And these guys are pretty much playing for it. INSUP, can you turn this around? Or is it going to be another 2-0 in favor of CrunCher? Boys, have fun casting this game.
All right, we got INSUP in the upper left, CrunCher in the bottom right. We'll see. I mean, so far, Jason, this was a Crypt Altar opener from INSUP, so this does indicate could be a Lich, but it could also be, and I'm praying for this, could be a Crypt Lord. I think this is a great map for Crypt Lord. I think this is still a pretty strong strategy against human overall. I would like to see INSUP switch something up, but I'm afraid he might not be.
I agree with you. I think this is one of the best Crypt Lord maps. It's a very weird thing to do as the human. Where do you creep first? Do you go for the lab? And then you were wrong. It wasn't the Crypt Lord, and there's some kind of instant harass coming and you're going to lose a lot. Do you go for the small orange, which is, you know, the standard? But then by the time you've got your expo coming up, Crypt Lord also has his coming up and he's charging across the map. and he's going to deal a lot of damage to the peasants, and that's really hard to hold. We already have our answer, though. It is the Lich, and let's see if he can make it work. I think this is a much better map than the last one. And, you know, everybody in the chat, please, you know, put your hands together, do something, drink some maple syrup, a little bit of power for INSUP. Probably not maple syrup for him. It's got to be like spiked. Do you guys have a spiked maple syrup? Is that a thing? Like,
oh yeah. A rum maple syrup for sure. We're Canadian, man. We got everything spiked over here.
Dude, I gotta get that. Where can I find that? Because that sounds amazing.
Oh, I got the hookups, man. Everyone in Canada's got the hookups. Trust me, I got you.
Okay. All right, well, all right, maybe after the finals, I'm going to have to ask for that. I'll give you my address. But everybody drink a little bit of that for INSUP. Hopefully, he took a power shot before this game. What are we seeing here?
Ooh, some ghouls going across. We see the town portal sold. Okay, this is what you were talking about at the beginning of the last game. So this might be a fast expansion from INSUP, which I much more preferred this strategy with the Lich first. I think this is a great change-up. Because before it was a very aggressive approach. Now it's a very passive approach. CrunCher does have the right answer, and that he's creeping very aggressively himself because he's not going to get harassed, because the footman scouting is always impeccable. But still, I like this from INSUP. We'll see how it plays out for him.
You know what the tell was? There's no Acolyte Scout. You can send your footman out just a bit, like toward the middle of the map, and if you don't see the Acolyte coming yet, you're free to take the lab. Usually that means fast expand, so CrunCher already knows what's coming. But the crazy thing is, the counter to this is the greedy creeping. You get level 3 Archmage with your Expo, and it's going to be level 2 Lich. And depending on the items that you get, you know, and how much he's prepped after that, it's usually not bad for the human, I think.
Yeah, and this is a pretty ridiculous item for CrunCher. The Sobi Mask is going to be so nice if he wants to go for a ton of pressure with that early level 3 Archmage. We'll see what he gets. Glaza Haste not bad either, of course. And INSUP. Okay, his expansion should be pretty safe. He's got a Nerubian coming up, and now he's going to be the one being aggressive. So if he can keep the Lich forward on the map, it's all about longevity with this pressure. If he can keep the Lich healthy, continue to keep CrunCher towards his base and not towards INSUP's expansion, this could end up being really good. He doesn't have to do a ton of damage, just has to keep CrunCher busy.
Really good call, absolutely. And he's doing exactly that. He's pulling CrunCher to the left side of the map. He's not engaging. He hasn't Nova'd any, well, as I said, he Nova's the first footman because every Nova has to be a guaranteed kill. It reminds me a little bit of, if you've watched Moon's Warden play, a lot of times he saves his mana in times where other slightly worse players would use their mana. It's because it has to be a guaranteed kill. And that's what he was doing here. He's just trying to buy time, and I think that's very smart. And CrunCher hasn't been able to expand yet. He's still kind of running around, but it is level 1 versus level 2, or level 3. So that is a problem. And now he's running the wrong way, because guess what? This is where CrunCher wants to go. He wants to push him this way so he can take the expansion. If he is going to expand, which I think he is, or is this... Wait, what?
Oh my God.
What is this? What is going on here?
How many? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 militia being called lumber mill. He's tower rushing Soul Glider. Oh my God, CrunCher. This is not what I expected from CrunCher of all people.
Dude, is Flame playing? Hold on a second. Flame, are you there? Hello? Like, this is a Flame move. This is what he would do. All right, this is NA gameplay right here. He's pulling out some really crazy stuff. I think this is crazy. Do you think this works?
I think you just unsummon if you're INSUP in tech. And then I guess then can CrunCher tower rush the main? I don't know. I guess what CrunCher does if he gives up this expansion is he just takes it for himself, doesn't he?
He'll already have the towers. He's got the lumber mill. He's got the peasants. And now he has your expansion. This is the craziest game I've seen in a while. But Lich doesn't have a TP. Lich doesn't have a TP, and the Lich is already low. He can continue the pressure as well. That's always an option here.
Yeah, the Archmage is also getting low. There should probably be a shop eventually power built for CrunCher. But maybe if INSUP gets a Dark Ritual on a healthy ghoul, maybe he could go for the Focus Fire on the Archmage. If he can force a town portal, that is all the peasants, that's all the footmen, that's all the water elementals out of INSUP's face. So he's got to be looking to force a TP.
Actually, he's getting pretty close to it. CrunCher's being really smart with the micro, though. He's got 2 footmen and water elemental right-clicked on the Lich. That's very, very key. So the Lich has to keep moving, can't DPS too much. But if the Lich gets enough mana, and INSUP's also doing the same thing. He's got ghouls looking for the Archmage. Uh-oh, Archmage is in Nova territory now. This is getting crazy, but the Arcane Tower is already up. Who wins, a Nerubian Tower or an Arcane Tower? I think we all know the answer, but it's fun to think about.
And there is a graveyard. iNSUP immediately reacted as soon as he saw the militia coming across with building an instant graveyard. That's going to mean a spirit tower. This might not work.
Oh, no, Lich!
Oh, no!
No! iNSUP, oh no! The boots.
Oh, it might work then. Just as I say, we're really getting caster curse today, apparently.
I know, exactly.
Oh man, if you can keep that Lich, that was the boots of speed helping out CrunCher, and he managed to find the Lich, and now there's so many footmen to kill these towers. Oh no,
CrunCher
the expansion's gonna go down.
iNSUP boot on him. CrunCher's sipping out of those boots of speed right now. Where is that maple syrup rum? CrunCher, take off that boot and sip it after this. I would go crazy if after this CrunCher took a shot.
True, yeah, how crazy. That would be the most hype beast moment ever. Yeah, that gif of those dudes that just burnt that guy and they're all running into the camera, and now we're gonna get it today. iNSUP calls the GG.